Sunshine lit up a Norwegian town in a remote dark valley for the first time in wintertime on Wednesday, as mirrors high on a mountainside realized a century-old dream. About 1,000 people, including children wearing sunglasses and with yellow suns painted on their faces, cheered when the sun broke through clouds to illuminate the main square in Rjukan. It's been until now in shadows from early October to mid-March. The sensor-equipped mirrors, powered by solar and wind energy, will automatically adjust following the sun to continually shine upon the town square in the bottom of the valley. Mayor of the area, including Rjukan, Steinar Bergslund, says the idea itself is 100 years old, and it has been achieved today in a town where the impossible can become possible. The man behind the idea is Rjukan resident and artist Martin Andersen. He moved to the town from Paris in 2001 and says he misses the sun, which receded higher and higher on the mountainside during winter. There are 3,500 inhabitants in the industrial town, which is about 110 miles west of Oslo. The reflected sunlight, covering 6,500 square feet, is meant to create a meeting place for sun-starved locals and a draw for tourists. Organizers say the reflected light will be over 80% as bright as the real sun. The sun shines here in the summertime when it's higher in the sky, but sets on October 4 behind the mountain and does not.
Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned in to Radio Free Canada. We're recording this on November the 11th, so you can probably hear the bagpipes in the background.
Lots of pomp and circumstance going on.
And we're doing it right in front of City Hall, where we've delivered information about the Municipal Sustainability Project just for them, which of course they're ignoring because it creates jobs and gets us all into a prosperous state.
Yes, and we can't have that.
No, but there are, just like Norway, shining the light on its cities using giant mirrors. There are city halls and governments that are taking control. And the Swiss have done an amazing thing.
Well, they're using direct democracy.
Direct democracy works. Probably why these guys here are against it. Check it out, minimum income.
In Switzerland, though, they have a population of 8 million, roughly the size of New York City. You need 100,000 signatures to get something on the ballot. And what they've come up with is, hey, here's what we want. We want every single adult working person in the country to be earning $2,800, or what's equivalent to $2,800. Yeah, so last week, the members of the activist group Basic Income Initiative, they turned in the 120,000 signatures, guaranteeing a national vote on the matter. The Basic Income Initiative says this about what is basic income. The emancipatory, unconditional basic income is defined by the following 4 criteria: universal, individual, unconditional, high enough to ensure an existence in dignity and participation in society. Mm-hmm. They're basically putting on the ballot something that would guarantee every adult citizen of Switzerland $2,800, whether they have a job or not. Eno Schmidt, founder of the group, the Basic Income Initiative, says it could be one of the landmark historical moments, like the abolition of slavery or the civil rights movement. Of course, those who don't want it will find excuses, but those who do want it will find solutions. They can't do it unless they have the money. And this is a state or country that has the money. Oswald Sig, former Swiss vice chancellor, had this to say about that. If there's anywhere that can finance this, it's Switzerland. Right now, we have the ball rolling. It's down to a yes or no question. It will then be up to lawmakers to determine exactly where the money will come from.
So what a great idea, $2,800 per month, whether you're working or not, because basic income is a human right.
And the way that they make poverty up out of nowhere using fractional reserve lending and the fiat money system that creates the poverty, well, they created a solution using that mechanism. You know, I'm an advocate for proper monetary control or more aggressive monetary systems. Obviously, this is one that could work. We're also looking up a clip where they had a minimum income city here in BC.
Yeah?
But
I hadn't heard about that.
Gotta find that one because it's out on the internet somewhere, and if you can find it, let me know. Okay, what do we got coming up next?
Well, apparently there's a way you can tap pine sap to make biofuels out of it.
Okay, so let's run this, talking about that, and then we got another clip directly afterwards talking about some stoves that solve problems. Check it out.
For over 400 years, we've been tapping pine trees to get resin or terpenes, just like we do from maple syrup. Here at University of Florida, we're working with our public and private partners to develop pine trees that we can extract terpenes from and convert them to advanced biofuels that can help reduce our dependence on foreign oil. In wood, there really are only 3 cell types: water conducting tissue, the ray cells, and the resin canals. And it's the resin canals that we hope to increase as our key genetic strategy to make more terpenes and store more terpene in the wood. We believe pine trees are the superstar for biofuel industry because there's already large stands of pine trees. We're working with loblolly pine, and they're found all across the southeast from East Texas all the way up to southern Maryland. In a planted pine forest, they typically live for 20 or 30 years, and during that time we can actually recover or extract the terpene just like rubber. We are going to be able to extract biofuels during the whole life cycle of the tree and still be able to convert it at the end into traditional products, pulp, paper, solid wood, and the landowner can see more value, the consumer can see more value, and the environment can be better protected. We really are at an early stage. This work could not be done without funding from the government. We received a large $6.2 million grant from ARPA-E to conduct this work. Innovation is really our best approach to reducing our dependence on foreign oil, and government investment in this area is critical. Otherwise, many great ideas would be left on the table and not be able to be pursued.
We focus on the Zayed Future Energy Prize in Abu Dhabi. The award celebrates innovation and leadership in clean energy and climate change. One of the nominees in the NGO category is the Aga Khan Planning and Building Service. We spoke earlier to CEO Hadi Hussaini.
What we're trying to do is use household efficiency tools. So we've introduced fuel-efficient stoves, insulation. We've introduced water warming facilities, things that a household can use that will dramatically reduce the amount of fuel wood or biomass that they use. And by doing that, what's happened is they have, by almost 50%, they have conserved fuel wood, which has had an enormous impact on the environment up here in the north, up in the mountains that I'm in right now. So we're seeing a significant stalling of deforestation. We're seeing a lot more, a lot less being spent on fuel wood usage and things of that nature. So now that we've introduced these actual engineered stoves, which are high-grade aluminum, which conserve the heat but also ensure that they use a lot less, it took a long time for them to accept. It took a long time for them to move beyond that very traditional stove practice to something that was very different, with an actual chimney pipe and a roof hatch window to keep the smoke out of the home. It was a very different concept and one that took some getting used to.
The Aga Khan Planning and Building Service has put nearly 50,000 stoves into homes in northwest Pakistan. The $4 million Zayed Future Energy Prize will be awarded later this month in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, we keep moving around today because we're recording on November the 11th and they're chasing us with bagpipes.
Yeah, it's a really frightening prospect.
Okay. At any rate, that's the way Pakistan is doing things, and that's an awesome solution. And also, we've got video on Radio Free Canada about how to heat your room for $0.05 a day. So that's one's coming up. What do we got here next?
Well, there's a guy who's come up with alternative energy solutions. The engineer who developed the Super Soaker squirt gun is working on ways to actually help humanity.
And then we've got a clip on aquaculture, where there's toxin-free ways of creating our food. So check these out.
Lonnie Johnson is what you would call a prolific inventor. The engineer holds more than 100 patents, inspired to create ever since he was a child. But Johnson's biggest claim to fame was engineering this toy, the Super Soaker squirt gun. More than $1 billion in sales later, Johnson had the resources to work on his real life's mission, finding ways to power the world without polluting it. Johnson and his team spent 7 years developing this lithium-air battery. A battery, he says, provides 10 times more energy than the most powerful batteries now on the market. Johnson has tested the battery's ability in the lab time and again. But in order to get the battery to work in an electric car, it needs to be larger, and scaling it up takes big money. The other potentially world-changing invention he's developed is this engine. The JTEC converts heat to electricity. Popular Mechanics magazine awarded the JTEC its breakthrough prize in 2008. And the National Science Foundation has said the JTEC has, quote, a good chance of being the best thing on Earth. Johnson says the engine, which pushes hydrogen through a membrane, could power entire cities once it's scaled up.
If we had a way of converting heat from the sun to electricity as cost effectively as we can burn coal or gas or natural gas to produce electricity, then we would be using the sun a lot more. This would really, literally change the world if we're successful.
Johnson has received some funding from the Department of Energy and support from the Department of Defense, but not enough to get the project commercialized. That, he says, will take several $1 million.
Everything depends on resources. I could have an engine working inside of a year at this point.
So far, Johnson has mostly gone it alone. It has been a major personal investment the 61-year-old hopes will pay off in his lifetime.
One Circle Farms offers a solution with a unique approach. We are combining the technologies of recirculation aquaculture system, aquaponics, and on-site fish feed production. By doing so, we are offering a better ecological way to produce safe, toxin-free organic fish for the marketplace. We are not just solving the health issues connected to regular fish consumption. We are also helping to alleviate ecological damages caused by traditional aquaculture and commercial fisheries. For a while now, we have been researching in conjunction with other companies ways to consistently produce safe, toxin-free organic fish with our unique approach. We have had many successes with omnivorous fish and more recently with freshwater bass, a carnivorous fish. Our method is clean, sustainable, and offers a great environment to produce safe, toxin-free organic fish. One Circle Farms is really the world's first sustainable organic fish farm. But we are actually even going further to help people start their own backyard aquaponics system and helping to alleviate the pressure on our oceans. We are creating a world of holistic and sustainable food production.
Okay, so there's toxin-free ways of doing things, and we've got the Municipal Sustainability Project online right now, where we're talking about toxin-free ways to create our own food, create 1,200 jobs locally, and of course, start phasing out Fortis.
But the government's not interested in that at all.
No, it seems the local government is only interested in maintaining the status quo. We have an update on that right now. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about some of the problems we're having with the police and the way they're not innovating. But until then, I remain Darren Howard.
And I remain Robert Nisbet.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure you send us your information, your links, and your attitude at Radio Free Canada on Facebook. Join us on YouTube or contact us through the Municipal Sustainability Project. We'll be right back.